Everyone. Today I wanted to talk about the kinds of sites and apps that pay you for taking surveys or downloading specific apps on your phones and things like that. Because I've had some experience with them, and while I still use them like once in a while, if there's like a super good offer, I think in general they just really showcase one of my biggest pet peeves, which is just seeing how obvious it is that people try to take you for what you're worth and give you as little as possible in return. And what I'm talking about is, well, I think I'll just explain it with this example, right? So I used to do this old app, right? And it had surveys and it had games and it'd pay you for different things. And for the surveys, usually the payment would be listed as like maybe anywhere from like 10 cents in like digital currency that you could exchange for gift cards or whatever. And it'd go for anywhere from like 10 cents to like maybe $1 or $5. And if you were super lucky, you might get one for like $50 or more. But those were kind of complicated because they wouldn't even always give them out. But even the regular ones wouldn't always give out. But I'll get more into that later. And for the games would usually pay more, or at least they'd list that they'd pay more. And they'd be generally easier because it's like a game, and most of them are like stupid little time gating idle games where you don't actually have to like use skill or anything. But so the big reason I stopped using them is because I just got so tired of the dishonesty, right? Just the scumminess of it, basically. For example, so the surveys, right? At first, when I started using them back in the day, because I was always broke and I'd like to have a little bit of spending money here and there. So I'd go to the survey sites and I'd answer some questions, and usually I'd get, what I was told I'd be paid for my time. Get my 25 cents or my dollar here or there. But I try to use it nowadays, and eventually they started doing this thing where, you'll answer a few questions and then they'll kick you out and they'll be like, "Oh, you're not qualified for this survey. You're not who we're looking for." And they give you like 1 penny for your time or whatever, right? And at first I accepted that. I was like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. I guess not everybody is the target for the resumes, right? But eventually I started noticing really, really scummy things I hated, like little progress bars at the top that would grow inconsistently with the number of questions. Like maybe you'd answer 10 questions and then the bar would only like trickle just a teeny weeny bit across. But for other questions, it would make the bar go like a tenth on its own. And I just felt like the inconsistency was some sort of dishonest tactic to try to like goad me into like dangling the carrot in front of me. I know I used the like whole dangle in front of you thing before, but that's a big part of like the dishonesty in general to where people try to get you to stay on something by dangling stuff in front of you, and I hate it. And I hate it when the survey site does it too. So that was one thing. But what really pissed me off was this one time where there was like a survey and it was a pretty long survey. Like it was a really long survey. I think it was for like $10 and I was doing it. And like right at the tail end, I answered like all the questions and they said, "Okay, well, we just need a few more questions about your identity and, just stuff like your race and your age and things like that." So I did. I answered them and that was like the tail end of the survey. And as soon as I did that, after answering questions for I don't know what felt like half an hour, they just booted me out. They booted me out. They're like, "Oh, survey isn't for everyone. Here's your penny. Here's your penny." And you could tell how much that pissed me off because, well, I waste all that time. I waste like half an hour of my time, and they give me a penny. And I don't even believe that my answers weren't used because what do you mean? What do you mean you made me answer all those questions and then waited till the end to boot me out? Like, I just feel like they use that as an excuse to not give me, the advertised pay. Because if you really cared so much about the identity, you would have put those questions at first, at the front. So then, lately, after that, I just got fed up. I just got so mad, and never went on to do the surveys again. Because every time I did, even the regular ones, they started like really ramping up the rate of booting you out. Booting you out for any. It doesn't even say what they booted you out for, which makes sense because you don't want people to lie on the surveys. But like all of them started being. I was not qualified for any of them after a while, so it just felt like a huge waste of time. And yeah, so I got frustrated with those. But the games are kind of they're also scummy, but at least you can make a few bucks from them sometimes. Like you'll play these crappy little waiting games where you roll some dice and you make your little character get some money. It's not even a game really. I don't even want to call it a game because it's not. Um, it's really just there for like brain dead people who don't know what a game is to spend money on it. So be like, oh, you can pay $10 to get some more dice right now. Or you can wait like an hour to get dice for free. And that's obviously I'd wait for free because I'm doing it for the money on the site, right? But my issue is that they give these huge advertised payouts of like, oh look, you can win like $100 from this game, or you can win like $80 in the currency, right? In the gift card exchange currency. And they'd be like, "Oh, you can win like $80 from this game." And then you'd look at the goals because they'd give you piece by piece the goals, right? Like it'd say, "Okay, we'll give you like $1 when you get to like level 1, and then we'll give you like $4 when you get to level 2 or whatever." And my issue was that a lot of these goals were just like flat out impossible, or at least they were impossible without spending more money than the prize was worth. So, you'd have those like Raid Shadow Legends games or things like that where a lot of it's time gated. Because if you could just go infinitely, then, I guess anyone could just sit there and grind. But, um, the goals they had there, you definitely had to pay for like some sort of enhancer or some sort of XP multiplier or something. So, I stopped mostly doing the games. Sometimes I still check in because sometimes there's something good. Like recently, I did win a lot on one of them, but that was a very specific case. I don't want to get too into it, but in general, I'm just really tired of these sites, and I'm tired of people being dishonest in general. Not being upfront with what they plan on giving me. I'm tired of people just saying, okay, well, if you do this, I'll give you this, and then swipe it right under you, or there'll be some fine print, and it'll just make the offer really horrible. So yeah, uh, in general, that's pretty much my grievances with it. I mean, I guess some people, maybe if you're like a kid or you're like really young, you have no job, and you can just like do your regular thing while having a crappy little game on the side of your computer. Maybe it's a still good option for you, but otherwise, I'd just stay away from it for now. But yeah. Let me know if you guys ever did any of these survey sites or had any experience with these survey sites or these app sites or whatever. Because I know, I know they used to be advertised a lot more, but now they're not. Probably because everyone's experienced what I have. Um, and that's about it. Bye.